Video, I'm going to be breaking down Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady, the main event for UFC London. This is an incredible main event. It's a very competitive fight. It's a very close fight. I feel like there's a lot to discuss in this matchup. I know that, Leon Edwards doesn't have a lot of hype. Sean Brady is also kind of a low-key fighter in the welterweight division who's kind of getting a little bit more traction with his wins over Gilbert Burns and then his win over Kelvin Gastelum before that. But this fight I think it's a pretty solid main event for a UFC fight night, and I'm actually very excited for this matchup, even though I don't necessarily think it's going to be like a banger of a matchup. It's not going to be, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev 2 or anything like that, but I think in terms of scale, I think this fight is also going to say a lot about where Leon Edwards is at. I think it's also going to say a lot about Sean Brady if he's able to beat someone like Leon Edwards, if he's really that top guy in the welterweight division. So because of that, I'm very excited for this matchup, just because, like I said, it's going to tell us a lot about Leon. It's going to tell us a lot about Sean Brady. And I've been going kind of back and forth on this matchup, guys. I've been going back and forth on this matchup because, in theory, Sean Brady is kind of the kryptonite of Leon Edwards. He kind of has a similar style to Belal Muhammad. Maybe he's not as durable. Maybe he's not as fast. But Sean Brady has shown improvements on the feet, as we saw against Gilbert Burns. He has good pressure. He has good takedowns. I think he's a little bit better on the ground than maybe even someone like Belal Muhammad in terms of having a submission threat. I think that a lot of people kind of dismiss Sean Brady because he got TKO'd by Belal Muhammad a couple years ago. And I know that's kind of a bad look because obviously Belal Muhammad doesn't really knock guys. He doesn't really knock guys out. But I still don't think that. I think Sean Brady has improved a lot since then, especially when it comes to the feet. And then Leon, on the other hand, it's very interesting for him as well because this is kind of a similar matchup that he's already faced. I mean, he's been facing guys like Kamaru Usman, that wrestler striker kind of matchup. Colby Covington, who obviously didn't do that much in that matchup. Colby fought terribly. And then in the fight against Belal, Belal was able to kind of bring the best of both worlds with the pressure, with improved boxing, and also having the takedown threat. Maybe he doesn't have the power of a Kamaru Usman. Maybe he doesn't necessarily even have like the cardio, even though he did show improvements in the cardio in that Leon fight. So I think that Leon has been preparing for this style in most of his fights. Like, Leon is always facing guys like Sean Brady, a similar style. And because of that, I think I am leaning a little bit more towards Leon Edwards in this matchup, just because I think Leon has faced this type of matchup. However, I've been one of the hardest critics when it comes to Leon Edwards. I feel like he's a guy that doesn't have killer instinct. I feel like it's a guy that gets a little bit too comfortable on the feet. I think he should be going out there and dominating fights. Like, I know he, beat Colby Covington very comfortably, but I think that was a fight where I think Leon could have knocked out Colby. Like, Colby looked absolutely terrible. He looked absolutely terrified of Leon Edwards, especially on the feet, and Leon didn't even have the awareness to be like, you know what, like, let me try to finish this guy. Like, let me make a statement. Like, that's the thing that really concerns me about Leon, and that's one of the things that I've been, like, I guess, pointing out about Leon, is that, he's so good. I mean, he's so technically skilled. I mean, he's one of the most aesthetically pleasing strikers that we've had in the welterweight division. Like, yeah, he doesn't have like crazy power. He's not knocking guys out left and right. He doesn't necessarily even have like high volume, but everything he throws is with such like technicality. It's beautiful to watch. It's crisp. And that's the thing that really works for Leon. He's also very fast on the feet. Like I said, he's a very good striker with both stances. But the things that hold him back, in my opinion, from being like this killer is the power, is the aggression, is a little bit of that cardio, that pace. And that's why the matchup with Sean Brady is so interesting, because Sean Brady, on the other hand, even though I don't think he's as good as Belal Muhammad, he has some of the same attributes that could kind of make it hard for someone like Leon. Like, he has heavy pressure, he's improved in his boxing, he has a pretty good left hook. He was kind of piecing up Gilbert Burns. He can hold you up against the fence and then go for takedowns. He has pretty good control on the ground. And we've seen Leon, when he starts to get pressured up on the feet with strikes, he puts his back up against the fence. And when he does that, it makes it a lot easier to take down someone like Edwards. So that's the thing that concerns me in this matchup. So like I said, I think theoretically, I completely understand why Sean Brady is the favorite, the slight favorite at least, going into this matchup, because this is definitely a style that has given Edwards problems. Because even though, if you remove the Bilal fight, and obviously the Kobe fight is kind of an outlier as well because Kobe did absolutely nothing in that fight. But if you look at the Kamaru Usman trilogy, even though Leon won that fight, that was still a very, very close fight. Like, I know Leon won that fight, more comfortably than he did the rematch because he was losing that fight up until he knocked out Kamaru Usman. But even in that trilogy, that fight was close, you know what I'm saying? But I think that Kamaru Usman has different attributes that Sean Brady doesn't. I think Kamaru Usman has more power on the feet. I think he's a better striker than Sean Brady. Maybe he doesn't have as good of combinations. I think Sean Brady has a really good body kick as well. So maybe in certain ways, Brady's a little bit better than Kamaru Usman, but I still think Kamaru Usman, I mean, he had that aura at that time. I don't think Sean Brady has that same aura. I think Sean Brady also tends to give a lot of respect to these kind of elite strikers, so I could kind of see him freezing up against someone like Leon. Leon also very good in the clinch, man. He lands pretty good elbows, pretty good knees. He landed a bunch of good strikes on Bilal Muhammad. In my opinion, that fight, he could have won it. Like, if he was a little bit more aggressive, especially rewatching that fight, I think Leon could have beat Bilal Muhammad. But the thing that really stopped him, besides obviously Bilal Muhammad's pressure and improvements in the boxing, is that every time that Leon would reverse maybe a takedown, right? Let's say Leon gets back up to his feet, or maybe he reverses Bilal up against the fence in the clinch. What Leon would do is that he would shoot a takedown. And that's not what you're going to do, bro. If you get back up to your feet, you have to land strikes on Bilal Muhammad. You're the better striker. And Leon tends to do that in a lot of his fights. That he tries to prove a point. He did that against Colby Covington in the 5th round as well, where like Colby went for a takedown, then Leon kind of stuffed it, and then Leon went for a takedown and he took down Colby Covington, and then he kind of got reversed. I believe that was in the 5th round. But Leon tends to have bad fight IQ, in my opinion. He tends to do that, and he needs to stop doing that, because there was so many moments in the Bilal Muhammad fight where Leon got back up to his feet, and I was like, okay, get back up to your feet, let go of the clinch, land elbows, land knees, land strikes, because the judges are looking for damage. And I think Leon could have stolen some of those rounds if he just trusted his striking a little bit more. If he did not engage in the clinch as much as he did in that fight, he would have done so much better. But Leon has a tendency to try to prove a point, and I don't get it. Like, why are you trying to prove a point in the grappling? Prove a point in the striking. So that's the thing that really frustrates me about Leon Edwards. But even then, guys, I still think I'm still gonna pick him to win this fight. I think it's a very close fight. Obviously, I could see Sean Brady winning this fight. Obviously, he would have to kind of implement a similar game plan to what Bilal Muhammad was able to do to Leon, and he could definitely do that because he definitely has a style. He's also very strong on the feet. His striking has come a long way. He has pretty good takedowns. We've seen Leon kind of freeze back there. We've seen him, put his back up against the fence. And if you think about it, for most of these matchups, he kind of loses. I thought the trilogy against Kamaru was a very, very close fight. And then the fight with Colby was pretty much a nothing fight because Colby did absolutely nothing. And then Bilal, he lost. But like I said, even in that fight against Bilal, Leon was still fighting back, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though when he was getting taken down on the ground, he was still trying to reverse. He was still trying to land elbows. I think he even cut Bilal Muhammad in that 5th round on the ground. So I felt like there was moments where Leon could have, put a little bit more damage on Bilal Muhammad. I think he could have stolen that fight, even if it went that way. You know what I'm saying? Even if it would have gone the same way, if Leon would have just taken more, if he would have taken advantage of the opportunities where he had Bilal up against the fence, where he got back up to his feet and landed elbows, landed knees, landing some strikes, he could have won a lot of those rounds because they were definitely close. And there was definitely moments where Leon got back up to his feet. It's not like every time that Bilal would take him down, he was able to control him easily. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Leon's kind of an easy guy to take down, but he's not an easy guy to control. But I do think that Sean Brady could definitely take him down and control him on the ground. Like, I think Sean Brady, I think he might have a bigger frame than Bilal Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at the picture right now, and it looks like Sean Brady kind of has a bigger frame than Bilal Muhammad. So I could definitely see him controlling Leon here. I don't know, man. I'm definitely not going to shit on anybody for picking Sean Brady, but I'm going to pick Leon here. I think he's nasty on the clinch. I think Bilal is a lot more durable than someone like Sean Brady. And I think that, yeah, Brady built Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns was just like, dude, the guy's definitely washed, man. The guy definitely looked old. And even in the moments where Burns was actually pressuring Brady, he actually had a lot more success. So I think here we're going to have to see a Leon that makes adjustments. We're going to have to see a Leon that, is on the front foot, that doesn't let Sean Brady pressure him up against the fence. And if Leon is able to control the center of the cage, I think he easily outstrikes someone like Sean Brady. And I think he wins a decision here. And I'm going to go with Leon Edwards to win by a decision. Like I said, there's reasons why you should not trust Leon Edwards. I completely agree. And like I said, I'm definitely one of Leon Edwards' hardest critics. But I just see Sean Brady as a little bit of a lesser version of Bilal Muhammad. And I think that Leon is going to make adjustments coming from that Bilal Muhammad loss. And I think that with those small adjustments, hopefully, right? Obviously, it's all hypothetical. I mean, Leon could go out there and basically fight the same way he did against Bilal. And if that happens, he can lose. And even then, maybe he can still pull it off. But I think he would lose. I think that if Leon fights the same way he fought Bilal Muhammad, he will lose this fight. And I'm trusting that he won't. But like I said, I definitely understand if you don't want to trust Leon in this fight, but I just feel like he's just a tad bit better. I think that, like I said, because he's fought this style so many times, he's used to guys like Sean Brady. He's fought guys like Kamaru Usman, guys who Bilal Muhammad. Like Usman has more power than both Bilal and Brady, so I don't see Brady knocking out, Leon Edwards. I think Brady might be a better submission guy than like Bilal and Kamaru Usman, but I don't think he's as fast or as fast twitch as someone like Bilal Muhammad. So you see how there's like different attributes where, yeah, it's a similar style, but like Brady does some things better, Bilal does some things better, and then Usman has like that power advantage. So I think that Leon is kind of used to that. And I definitely think Leon might have underestimated Bilal Muhammad. I think that's something that people don't really talk about, and that's not to like bring up excuses or anything, but I definitely think that Leon was underestimating Bilal Muhammad because, I mean, prior to that, Bilal Muhammad hadn't fought in like over a year against a Gilbert Burns on short notice. It was a very anticlimactic fight, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe Leon was underestimating Bilal. He was coming off those wins over Kamaru Usman and Kobe Covington. So I think that he's going to come into this fight a little bit hungrier. And like I said, I think he's definitely going to make adjustments coming off the Bilal Muhammad loss. Leon Edwards to win this fight, probably by decision. I mean, I could see him hurting Sean Brady at some point in this fight, even though I don't think it's likely. I mean, Leon Edwards, most of his fights go to a decision. I don't really see Sean Brady knocking out Leon Edwards. Maybe he's able to win by submission. That would be pretty crazy. Definitely more possible than that fight against Bilal, than the fight against Usman, because like I said, I think Sean Brady is a little bit more of a better submission artist than someone like Bilal Muhammad or Kamaru Usman, but I still don't see it happening. I think this fight definitely goes to a decision. I'm going to trust on Leon Edwards to make the adjustments. I definitely think this is a fight that he can lose, which is why I love this fight, because like I said, I think it's going to tell us a lot about where Leon Edwards is at this point in his career. It's going to tell us really if Sean Brady is truly the real deal at 170. He's really improved that much, because I think if Sean Brady is able to beat someone like Leon Edwards, I mean, he's at the cusp of a title shot, and I think that if Leon beats someone like Brady, especially convincingly, I think it shows that Leon has definitely improved and made the right adjustments after that Bilal Muhammad loss, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.